Okay, so before I start, there might be a bit of static, no clue why. We'll see. So I just got home from a classical game. I might call this video my immortal game because I'm so proud of this game. So yeah, I played it. Let's give a bit of a background. So last year I played very well and I gained a lot of rating points. So there are two competitions I play in, which went throughout the year, classical competitions. In one of them, I was I was just like somewhere in the average range, and I drew the first game 1-4, and then was subbed into our higher team. So, and I lost both of those games, but they didn't count. So I ended that season in my actual team with a score of 4.5 out of 5. Playing, I believe, 2 and 3. I'm not sure if I played 3 white or 3 black. Can't really remember all that well. In the other competition, I was put in as like substantially the weakest player. And I played all games. I wasn't subbed into any team because I actually played up in the highest team. So this was the more local one. The other one was regional. So in the local tournament, I started out with a score of 5 out of 5, and with 2 rounds to play, I was still playing for the prize for highest amount of points in a season. Turns out someone got 7 out of 7 and I didn't. Spoilers. So I was facing someone who was a very strong player, and I blundered a piece I blundered an exchange at some point in the late middle game, and then in the end game they blundered a piece. So then I had 2 pieces versus a rook, or actually I had 3 pieces versus a piece and a rook, and we quickly decided on a draw, which I think was still a draw in their favor. So if I played on, then I might have even lost it, and that's where my 100% chances went. In the last round I also lost. And we played against a team that had the player with a 7 out of 7. I didn't play them, unfortunately, but yeah. In theory I could have prevented it if I played against them and actually won or something, and then I would have actually been first in score, in like personal score for the entire competition, which would have been cool. Especially since I was definitely the weakest player on our team. So today I played against the person against the exact same person that drew me in my after my 5 out of 5, like the exact same. I also played black again against them. I did so the yeah. In the first time they played at our club, and the second time I played at their club. So just now I played at their clubs, which is which is quite far away. I came home and it's very late already, but I really want to show this, or we really want to make this. So they after that game, which went on for a very long time, they mentioned back when I had 2200 rating, I would not have blundered my piece in the end game, which gives you a bit of an idea that this was a very strong player. Like, I mean, technically could have been titled if they wanted it, but they weren't, I believe, and now they're at a rating of like 1850-ish, and I'm barely going to touch 1800, I think. So I played them again basically as a rematch. Last time they definitely had the better of me, And this time I played black against them again, and well, let's see what happens. I'm very proud of this game. It was a close no, not Scandinavian, close Sicilian, and let's just take a look. So e4, c5, knight f3. I play knight c6 because if it's an open Sicilian, I play a Sveshnikov, which I really enjoy, because basically I want to win as black in every game, or I want to try to win as black. So I should play openings that give me more winning chances instead of being forced to defend a slightly worse position, and if I don't or if I do defend, then it's a draw, and if I don't defend, it's a loss. I don't like that. I want to either lose really badly or win basically as black, and then just hope that my superior brain power will get me to win, which doesn't work always. But I mean, it's a goal. So yeah. So d4 was not actually played. My opponent played d3, and now we're going into a closed Sicilian structure, and honestly I have never looked at this, at how to play this, but there's just a standard setup that works pretty much always, so I went for that, which is d6. I'm just going to play my opponent's moves because it doesn't matter. Here I went for my first slight think, because maybe if I wanted to play knight f6 and maybe they can play e5 or something, but I thought no, it's fine, I'll play knight f6. My first real think. They played c3 and I castled pretty quickly. So I believe right now we were both like we get 30 seconds per move, so I believe we're both above our starting time by like a minute or two after 7 moves. So we gained 3.5 minutes, so we fought each for like 2 minutes tops. Here my opponent played knight bd2. I played knight to d7, which so there is so I assumed my opponent wanted to play knight c4 and attempt to push through e5, and I saw that I wanted to kind of prevent that with b5, but maybe then e5 is immediately possible because of this massive diagonal. So what I instead did, I played knight d7 with the attempt to set it up. Basically I wanted to support b5 with the idea that after e5 I take with the knight. No, sorry, I take with the pawn first, and then I take with the knight second and defend this knight, and I'd probably be fine there, I think. So, oh wait, no, they already sacked a piece for that, so they can win the piece back. But yeah, I would have been fine there. So my opponent did play knight c4, and I did play b5. So e5 is not actually a thing because it sacks 2 pieces and wins like a piece, or maybe even a full rook. But it sacks 2 pieces, so it's not good. So my opponent went to e3. And now because I played b5, which has 2 plans, it has this type of idea, mostly just b4 because this bishop pierces the pawn structure here, and this might collapse it, and then my bishop becomes an absolute monster. It also vacates the b7 square, so I could now play bishop b7 to fight on this diagonal. My opponent played a3 here to prevent b4, and it doesn't technically prevent it, and maybe I should have played it, but I'm not fair, wouldn't have been held that happy, I don't think, with it. I played a5 to support it kind of, but if we just take, then just d4 or something, right? Oh, e4 hangs. That is a motive in one of the positions at some point. But like, I mean, this is fine for them as well. Oh, queen b3 is an issue. Okay, good. Good that I saw that. And good that I absolutely saw that in the game. I didn't play b4 because of that. Absolutely. I promise. Okay, so I played a5 and to support b4, which is still the plan for black. It's like counterplay on the queen side. That's basically the plan for black in these types of positions, and my opponent is going to try to do this and get a massive center, maybe kingside attack, something like that. And they kind of surprised me here. I think they might have wanted to play b4 themselves to basically nullify all of my plans. They went rook b1. And there are other reasons for it other than b4, but the point might be that they don't want me to want to trade rooks, want to give me the a file with like, so in case of, let's say, blank move, take, they might be forced to take here, and then I might actually win this diagonal against this bishop. So I might be able to play like f5 and like stuff like that, I don't know. So I think that might have been part of the idea. So they played rook b1. I'm not sure actually, but yeah, I played b4, which looks very reasonable to me. I mean, it just threatens to win the c-pawn. There might be an issue of d4 here already. They didn't play that, but I will look at it for a bit. d4 was kind of the point, probably the point of my opponent's position. And like, I don't actually really want to take, because it just opens the b file for my opponent. I want them to take. So, but maybe if I just take, there's actually a motive here that I'll mention later, but so there is some nice trick here, but, or actually in theory, I don't think it actually works. Let's say like this, something like this, and then, I mean, you still don't want to take, but maybe like queen b6 or something would be fine. Maybe then knight c4 again. Not sure. This didn't happen. My opponent didn't play d4. My opponent actually took first. A takes, and then play d4. I mean, they have to do something against this threat, and I think d4 is the move. And here I was very stuck. Here I was looking for any move, basically. And there's this great tactic that I saw, which doesn't work, unfortunately. So my idea was knight takes d4. I mean, if they don't take, I win a pawn, and I can take here or something. So let's first look at knight takes. Let's say they don't accept my sacrifice, and then my plan was to play f5 immediately, and like, I think their center just falls apart. I would have been pretty happy to play this position. Maybe they're forced to play d5, which looks okay. But maybe like this. Do I win the pawn already? No, but I mean, I think I will at some point. This pawn is really weak. Maybe I shouldn't play knight f6 actually. Maybe I should play knight b6. Yeah. So the point I also need to mention, and which is the reason why I looked at it for I believe 20 minutes and then declined it, because it doesn't actually work, it just loses, is you can just take with the pawn, and the reason why I thought for quite a while that you couldn't was because bishop takes e4, the pawn is undefended, and it traps the rook. And I thought, well, I mean, you can get, let's say, bishop d2, you can get an exchange or something, and then, but I have 2 pawns and actually a third here. Well, only 2, because the rook hangs. But it turns out that in this position, bishop takes e4, the move is knight d2, and then I actually lose a piece in the end because they just take here. So now I'm down a piece for 2 pawns, and my bishop is hanging. I mean, this might actually still be playable. Because, I mean, where does the knight go? Okay, here. And this knight is kind of slow, and I mean, it's 3 pawns, but they're not great. I almost thought that queen a4 would have defended both pawns, but it doesn't quite. Maybe this is still playable. This looks fun. Especially because my queen is a monster here. Oh, I can play rook c8. Oh, that's no, wait, I mean, I can, but I still lose a pawn. But they can't take here, because I sack my rook and take 2 pieces again for the rook. And then, oh, actually, maybe that's still good for them. Then I have, yeah, then I have an exchange and 2 pawns. Okay, whatever. So I didn't play knight takes d4 because it doesn't. I thought it doesn't work, and it might not actually work. So I basically spent 20 minutes on nothing, and I needed to come up with a good move here. And I saw something interesting. Well, kind of interesting. Maybe because I completely own the A file, so especially I own A2. So I thought maybe I can do this. It doesn't really do anything, but the point might be that I can attack the B pawn from there, and I mean, the only way to defend the rook is this, and then they can't play rook a8 because I win the pawn, actually. It looked interesting, at least. So I played queen a5, which, I mean, this is probably my worst move, but I really couldn't think of anything else to do. I don't want to take anything. I don't want to play e5. I don't want to play, yeah, basically anything. And I could already defend against anything my opponent might want to do, so like d5, taking here, taking there, all of it is fine, all of it I want, actually. And I don't know, like knight here, and to prevent pair f4 would have been fine as well. I mean, maybe I can play f5 there. I don't know. Basically, there was nothing going on, and I really couldn't find any improving move, so I just played something. My opponent played bishop d2, and here I basically tried to trick my opponent, and if they fall for the trick I win a pawn, and if not, then I mean my game continues, basically. One thing I noticed, by the way, is that I can't really put my queen on either of these squares, which is generally the square you want it to be, because of knight d5, which could be annoying. Knight c4 actually wouldn't have worked. So knight c4 here, and I actually almost win okay, I don't win a piece, but you're forced to do this. After which, I think you can concede, because like, what do you do? What do you do with this? How do you play? Your knight can't move because your rook hangs. The bishop physically can't move to defend the rook in any other way. The knight, yeah, everything is stuck. I think you can already concede here. Also, there's like, after that, there's like bishop h6 to actually win. Oh, actually, I can't take, because then the bishop takes. There must be a win here. I mean, there's another move that happened in the game, which is why I didn't actually show it. Queen a5. So here, yeah, there's this nice. I basically tried to trick my opponent. So I played bishop h6. My opponent was playing very fast, so I was wondering what if they just like look at this for a minute at most and just play rook e1. Then I'd win a pawn, because they can't. I mean, they can try to do this, but I just take, and e4 hangs in the end, and e4 is just undefended. And any other move any other move like rook c1, I just take here immediately. Was the point. So I was just basically testing the water, see if they would basically look at this for 2 seconds and play rook e1. There are only 2 moves that don't lose on the spot, or actually only 1 move that doesn't lose on the spot, and it's not rook e1. I also saw it, it's rook a1. And here I just move my queen. I can't go anywhere here, but I do want to keep my rooks connected. So I went here, and I mean the attack on the rook is gone, but like I can reapply it at any point I want. And I put my rook or my queen on the b file, which could be interesting. Maybe I want to play b3 or something. We'll see. So I don't think this was probably the best I could have done, but it's playable for sure. Here my opponent played knight d5, which tries to fork my rook and queen, and I have to basically go back with my queen to defend. It's probably not the only move. I didn't want to go back to b8 because I want to keep my rooks connected. But I might have to look at this. Queen b8. Like, suddenly this attack is here, and then I get bishop d6. But maybe this pawn falls then. And bishop d3 doesn't actually do anything. Maybe I should just play here and just attack the knight, and like properly threaten to take it. If threaten is a big word, but plan to take it for sure. But yeah, queen b7. I don't think it's, I mean, it's okay. I think it's very similar to what happened in the game. Rook e1. And I can do the same thing, but I think it's better here, but because I get the a file again. But I actually didn't. I thought, like, where does this knight go? I mean, this is a threat, of course, but if I just kick it, where does it go? If it goes here, I now have bishop d3 with a tempo, forcing, I don't know where this knight could go, actually. Forcing, like, knight c2, maybe. Or I have no idea. So, let's say e6, knight d3, or bishop d3. How do you defend? Knight c2 I think is the only move, and then I have to go to a3. So that doesn't look great, because this knight is actually very good, and on a3 it's kind of terrible. Or you can go to f4, so e6, f4, knight f4, which prevents this. But then I thought, I mean, I get bishop c4 now, and so I think my bishop is pretty good here. So I played e6 when knight actually went to f4, and then I realized something. I actually put some time into this position instead of just saying, oh yeah, I'll play bishop c4 and I'll be pretty happy because my bishop is good. No, I actually noticed, wait, this is just a threat, a double attack, and I'm threatening to take on d4 kind of. So for example, so e5, I actually played that, and so let's say knight d5 goes back, I just take here. I think I win I don't win a pawn, right? Because they just take here. But then, like, I mean, have fun. Look at this. And d3 is on its way, threatening here, and knights can jump in and there, and oh my god. Like, I play a Benoni, and this is like exactly what you'd want, right? As a Benoni player. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. So yeah. So knight d5 was basic. I mean, they can also take, but then I thought I take with some knight. I think this knight actually was the plan. And then I get these squares, and I mean we can trade once, then it's fine. This pawn is technically undefended, but it's not actually attacked. I think I'd be happy here as well. So what my opponent did, my opponent also, I mean, I saw this move, and but I didn't actually show my calculation yet. So they played d5, and the point is that if I take, they take here, and then it's just a trade, because I take here and I'm forced to take there, and they can take on f4 with the bishop, and I'd be actually pretty sad because this pawn it doesn't fall actually, but it's this might be good. Knight e5. No, this isn't good. Knight e5 isn't good, because they just take, and then my beautiful bishop is gone. What's the move here then? I mean, I do have to prevent e5, and I have to defend d6. So I might actually be forced to go into this line, and then I think I'm better because this bishop is stronger than that bishop. But it's very minor. So yeah, that's probably fine for me, but I saw something else. I just moved my knight, and then this knight needs to move, and then I immediately slammed through f5 was the point. In the end I didn't do that because my opponent my opponent has stuff in that position, and I didn't want to allow that. So my opponent, I mean, also where does this knight go? Because the bishop defends d3, so it needs to go either there or there. And knight e2, I have bishop d3 again, and how do you defend it? Knight c1. Knight c1 and cry. I mean, I have to go back, but yeah, again, have fun. Oh, knight c1 doesn't work, so bishop, knight e2, go here. They have to first take my rook, otherwise they can't even play knight c1, and then I can pin the knight to the queen. Oh my god, what a position. So let's say knight e2. I want to put this on the board for a bit. Bishop d3. So you're forced to take here. Knight c1. Rook a1. Oh. And then like just barricade. Just barricade everything in, and like my knight goes to c5, and like this is just the inner Benoni player in me goes yeah. I don't want to finish that sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence. But it's it would have mentioned something like half-mast. Okay, so yeah, bishop e7, and so they didn't go to e2, so they went to h3. And like here the point is kind of obvious. The knight has 0 squares except for this one. This knight has 0 squares except for this one. So they only can go here. And now I realized, if I play f5, then it just jumps into e6, whichever knight. And like, so that's not actually a threat if I don't move this f-pawn. So I had some time. I tried to actually just ignore this. All these pieces are bad actually, and my pieces will eventually come back to life. So I mean, this knight isn't good, and this knight is fine, but it's not great. Also note, I wanted to play f5 because this becomes a very big issue. So yeah, I wanted to actually like close the queen side for a bit, except for the a file because it's already completely open. So I played b3 with the point. This was the setup I wanted to build. So bishop d3 and just c4 immediately, something like that, and then knight c5. That was the goal. But I think I might have played it inaccurately actually. So they played bishop. Oh yeah, no, I didn't necessarily. They played bishop e3, so I couldn't play my bishop there. So I mean, my bishop on a6 is kind of mediocre right now, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, this is still an idea, and then rook and my knight gets here, and then they're basically forced to trade because otherwise I get here or here. I don't know. It looks decent at least. So c5 was a move, but it kills my bishop completely, so I wanted to avoid doing that. And my opponent can't actually play c4 because I just take. So I play what is arguably maybe inaccurate now that I think about it. Maybe I should like properly defend no, maybe I should play knight b6 for. Oh no, then my pawn hangs. So maybe I should play queen and bishop here. But then I can play c4. But then my bishop on a6 dies again. It's unclear. I mean, maybe it's less dead there because then it can immediately go to c8 and back onto this diagonal, maybe even that diagonal. Yeah, I think c4 is probably good. So what I played actually, I wanted to support f5 again because that looks great right now, especially with if I get c4 as well. And I still should have played it despite this bishop being strong and this bishop being dead. But yeah, I played h6 to basically, I mean, if they ever want anything on g5, they have to sack a piece for that. But it does give them something else. Queen c1, which basically has 2 threats. And I mean, this isn't worth a pawn, this is worth a pawn, so I have to just defend. and then they play c4, which is properly defended, unfortunately. So my bishop on a6 isn't actually all that bad yet, because it's actually putting pressure and keeping the queen here. There are some situations where for example, if the rook ever goes off to the first rank, I might even be able to take because of threats and back rank issues here. Maybe. So there, and if the queen like moves here, for example, I can just take. Also, the attack on the b pawn is gone on my b3 pawn, so I can do basically whatever. Like I can play here, but then maybe knight d2 works. Honestly, this is still probably good. This might if I remember the game, this might actually be better than what happened in the game. Just insert queen b4 and then play bishop c. Move my bishop. No, I can't sack a piece on c4, can't take. I had to calculate it at least, but yeah, they just take here. Yeah, I was kind of sad about this, and I do kind of need to develop my pieces. Maybe actually they're there. How do they defend? Oh, bishop, with the bishop on f1. Okay, so that barely holds, but I don't have anything else. But yeah, I think that's probably still. No, I think what happened in the game is actually better for me, because the first thing they do is this, of course, and my queen is better here, and their bishop is better there. And this knight doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah, I play f5 here with the plan. Well, there are plenty of plans. Maybe I can play f4 even. I didn't want to play g5 because I think taking that would be good for them, even though it threatens to very much win a piece in all of the ways, because they're both almost trapped and it's a fork. Yeah, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. I create a square for this knight, I create pressure here. Basically plenty of ways to abuse this. And my opponent played a move that I saw existed and did not I don't want to say I underestimated it, but I definitely saw that it existed and decided not to calculate it because it looked stupid. Well, I mean, it looked stupid. I knew that it looked stupid, but it might have been playable regardless. But I thought I would always just find a solution if necessary. I didn't write that down properly. Wait 2 seconds. Good enough. My opponent actually played knight g5 here. I wrote it as knight g5 should be knight hg5. Check. With the point that, I mean, the first one I just have to take. I didn't even think about it. Then the second knight comes here, and then it goes to e6, which is their point. Which is, I mean, might be worth a piece, but I thought I'd just go here. And I had to calculate the difference between these two. Absolutely can't go there because of the discovered attack. But I think there's moments where this becomes a check, and I don't want to allow that. So I'm moved back to g8. I think it's probably a bit more accurate. and they went to e6. And my initial idea when I saw this was knight b6 something, just sack the exchange back, and then I'd have two pieces for a rook and a pawn, and that looks probably pretty fine. But then I thought, I don't need to do that. Let them take it. Let them, yeah, just force them to take it basically. So I played rook f7, which also, like, I mean, if they, yeah, which defends the bishop from an attack like that, and maybe like even there are even well, my mouse is crapping itself. There are even variations where I just take, and then I've sacked the exchange in a different position, but my king is up one square, so queen h6 isn't actually a move, which I thought was relevant. So my opponent played bishop h6 obviously, and then I realized I don't need to sack my exchange again. I still don't need to sack it. So what I did, because my g6 pawn is just defended by this knight, so I took queen takes, and there's like kind of an issue here maybe sometimes. So I kind of didn't want this queen on h6, so I just played rook h7. The queen has to go here, attacking my knight, which isn't actually a proper threat because it's just defended, but yeah. But there are some threats. There is this threat obviously, and then if I take, then g6 falls. So what I did is basically I allowed that, but at a cost for them. So I played knight f8, which defends. So basically they can sack this brilliant knight that cost them a piece to win this pawn. And that's what I did. So they first played e takes f5. Here I realized that I couldn't actually take because bam! That looks, yeah. And there's actually just nothing, and I just lose even. It's really bad. But I did realize I can just take here. I had to calculate this, of course, but it all works out fine. And they decided to, they actually did decide to take, and queen takes g6, which looks scary, but I don't think it is all that scary, honestly. So I went rook g7 to block. And I mean the queen needs to move again, and it gives a check here. So yeah, I looked at multiple different things. I can't actually block. I mean I can, but if the queen blocks, they just take, let's say take one, doesn't matter, and I lose this bishop, and then I'd be down 2 pawns in the end. Which is not good enough. If I block with either rook, they just check me, and it doesn't actually help, I don't think. Maybe this is fine. There. No, this might not be because of the move they played. I played king h8, and they played bishop e4. So if my rook was here pinned, then this would have been a big issue, and maybe I might even get mated there. So here I needed to come up with a solution to my knight hanging, and I can't. I mean, I can use this rook, but not really. I mean, because maybe this pawn also falls. This bishop is a bit of an issue. I wanted to basically take here, but then I'd lose a piece. I came up with a solution, which is based on if the knight moves. Actually, I mean, I don't have any pawns in front of my king, but that also means that these rooks are very strong. So there is actually a lot of options for counterplay. So I played knight to d4, which kicks the queen. There's a check, but it doesn't help. It doesn't really matter. It's probably accurate to give the check, regardless. But it barely matters. So they take here, which is also a big issue. And I basically gambled my entire game on this next move being good enough to not lose this bishop. I played queen f7. And at this point I didn't see a win. I did see a draw though. So if they take here with the rook, I just take and win the rook, and then it's good enough. Then I win like the house. If they take with the queen, I take king here, and knight f3 I saw, which threatens so much checkmate that wait, does it actually? Because you have okay, now I'm going to just analyze this. So they didn't play that actually. They played f4, which is a blunder. Which is definitely a blunder. But I'm gonna have to analyze this. So queen a6. They're here. Isn't there just this? And I can't block, of course. And this defense mate. And the rook is hanging, but like they can go here. I mean, where's my win? There is no win, right? Maybe this is good enough. I looked at that, and then the pawn becomes a bit of a menace. There's also maybe like rook sack, but I don't think that works either, because you get check and mate. Oh, you get if the rook just if the rook moves. If I move like, I might actually get mated here. Checkmate. So if the rook moves here or something, I just get mated. So that I mean, this looks, I mean, I'm down 2 pawns, but this still looks very playable for me. I just don't see it. It's not constructive or anything. Maybe knight e2, threatening maybe here or something. It's also probably bad actually to take there. I mean, there's always this, which forces this, which is also, this is probably good actually. Like that. And this pawn also runs. I mean, you don't have to do that. Like, I'm also threatening, I'm definitely threatening a perpetual here. So maybe if you want to win, you have to go there even. No, that doesn't actually work, because then I promote. Rook f1, take. Here I promote. That's clearly good enough. So you have to actually go here. Check there. Here. No, that and there. No, this is still, this probably, oh, this actually just loses, right? I can't do that actually. So it's just a perpetual. Okay. Good enough. It's definitely a draw. That's good enough. I'm happy that it's at least a draw. But if you don't take the bishop, what else do you do? I mean, I thought you'd play f3, and then I take here. You're basically forced to take back, and then I have the same perpetual trick. So if you want to win, you can't take the bishop. But yeah, I don't think you'd be. I think you'd just accept the draw in that case. I definitely want to see if there's a win there, but this is just f4 is just a blunder because I just take it with the queen. The g pawn is pinned, so and it even defends h6, which is relevant at times. And my opponent actually didn't trust that this wasn't a win. My opponent apparently saw a forced win, which I didn't actually see. I'm not sure there is a forced win, but I mean it looks extremely scary. So what my opponent did was they tried to sack as little as possible to permanently prevent it. And they did, where were you? Move 37, that's there. Yeah, okay, no, I am thinking about it correctly. So they actually sacked the queen and picked up the bishop. And that's definitely not good enough because I have a queen against a rook. They have 2 extra pawns, but I mean that's just not good enough. Especially after this knight f3, which forces a trade. And here they even blundered again. So here I had like 10 minutes, they had half an hour. They were thinking for like a minute, and the first move I thought about is I always have a perpetual and a draw, whatever happens. And then I realized, wait, they can't take my pawn because I just sack here. They're forced to take, and I win the pawn or win the rook. So I win the 2 pawns. And then they did take, and in an attempt to basically deal mental damage, let's just say, I wrote down their move and immediately sacked my rook here, which I thought was a good moment. And they're forced to take, and went here, and I take the rook. And here it's just finishing the game. I did play it mostly completely accurate. Let's actually just take a look at it for a bit. Where are we here? Yeah, d6. So I can take the pawn, but I thought I can also just take the pawn with check to prevent that. I mean, maybe they can go. Oh no, they can't go here because of. Then I just win the rook. And any other move I can. So here, check probably. I'm not actually sure what they. Maybe I go here or something. I don't know. I'm just giving a bunch of checks. I'll figure it out at some point. They went here. They wanted to stay on the dark square, so I don't actually have a fork or anything. So I went there, right? Yeah. Queen c1, yeah. King there, check. King g3, check. King h2 back. And then my plan was just to promote. And in the car ride back home, someone mentioned, hey, shouldn't I just play this? Check, gear, and then push, and then they can't actually do anything with the pawn, which is probably the only suboptimal move I played in this endgame. But I played b2, which is also good enough, absolutely, but maybe I should, yeah, but maybe that gives my opponents an opportunity. It doesn't actually. They did try. I went yeah, I went here. Yes, because I wanted to, because my queen defends these 2 squares, which I assumed would be relevant. They can't actually, like, Also, oh yeah, I also didn't want to go here because then they would promote with check. So I went to not a dark square basically, or more. Wow, my mouse is screwing up again. Yeah. So I didn't want to go to this diagonal basically, and I wanted to stay off of the edge. My opponent played d7, and yeah, okay, no, here it was the move, so I could play like mouse, come on, queen d2, and king like here. Probably actually they would have probably gone to a light square because the rook is on a dark square, and then just promote, and there's absolutely nothing. And then I just slowly give checkmate. But instead of playing queen d2, which was probably a bit better, I just promoted regardless. And they can promote, but then it's just an easy ladder checkmate. They actually tried something. I stayed off of this diagonal again. They tried to sack their rook, because then they might promote with check, but I just took with the queen, and then they gave up. So that was the game, and I think I played it very well. I'm very proud of this game for multiple reasons. But let's see if the engine agrees with me. e4, c5. This is all just normal. Apparently d3 is already meh, but it's okay. Rook b8, what is that? Okay. I mean, it makes sense, kind of, because the diagonal is a bit of an issue. This is all fine. Apparently e5. Yeah, I looked at e5 for a bit. Didn't really like it all that much, but it's probably fine. Yeah, b5, giving me b5 is probably wrong. Rook b8, ooh, nice. b4 immediately, fair enough. a6, yeah. Oh, and yeah, b4 is bad in that position after a3, so I have to play this. Wait, did I look at the good line, correct line? No, they just play, yeah, they just play d4. Yeah. Oh, a5, nice. Okay, good enough. Yeah, I'm still better, slightly better here. Take is apparently fine. Would not have done that, I don't think. d4. Can I? Why can I take? Take. Knight a5. Yeah, I looked at knight a5 as well. But I didn't really see the point, because I can't go to b3 or c4. I mean, the point could just be to get off of the diagonal, so I have pressure. Yeah, because the knight on f3 doesn't actually have all that many squares. Fair enough. I mean, this is apparently fine. I saw it as the third... Yeah, it's the third move here. Somehow. Wow. Taking on d4 again. Also, I really want to look at knight takes d4. Yeah. For a second it said +1, and now it's suddenly better for me again, slightly. But you can't take with the knight, which I saw because not f. Yeah, queen b6. I assumed. I think. And bishop e4 doesn't actually work because of bishop d2 as well. Oh, bishop, yeah, nice. Okay, whoops. And then I just win the second rook as well. And the d-pawn. Oh, okay. I should have probably played this, honestly, but because yeah, okay. But pawn takes d4, take. Oh, I almost. Okay, and the point is that you just go back and then. I don't. No way. This is no way that this is just like. I mean, knight, a rook and 3 pawns versus 2 pieces. Yeah, okay, but this is, yeah. I would have probably played that. That looks fun. And now I have 4 pieces for, or 4 pawns for the piece. Oof, I should have played that. I should have really played that. It looks very very fun. But yeah, but this is apparently bad because of taking on d4, which I missed. Bishop a6 forces rook a1. Right? No, rook e1. And this. Oh yeah, I lose the. Oh, discovered attack. Ah, nice. Whoops. Good. Good I didn't do that. Okay. Yeah, this is still okay. That's bad because of e6, yes. Knight goes here. Still taking on d4. It's fine. It's good. Apparently this is bad because they take, and I did not trust that they could take, honestly. This is okay. Oh, bishop g5, fun. To force me to or to try to force me to play f6, and then it just goes back, and then knight g5. And but what if I just play knight f6? So bishop g5, like knight f6. I still want to do this. Oh, but my pawn is hanging actually. Yeah, maybe I'm forced to do that. Oh, queen of 3. Ah, yeah. And then my knight gets sad, and you can take the. Why can you take the pawn? Whatever. Yeah. There's slight inaccuracy apparently. Now I can play bishop c4 or c4, f5 apparently even. h6 is apparently okay, not that great, but yeah. g5. I mean, I didn't want to play g5 because I assumed that they just take, and oh, bishop d3. Oh, how did I miss bishop d3? Oh no, wait. Yeah, no, wait. Huh? Take the. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Whoops. That's not far enough either. So, bishop d3. I mean, you have to take here, of course, and then. Okay, it's just because it's just that my setup is worth a pawn. That's insane. Wow. I wanted to build a setup and I didn't think about sacking a pawn for it. Wow. That's like engine stuff. I haven't promoted to engine level calculations yet. Okay, so I just play king h7. And now they get c4, and suddenly they're kind of okay. Queen b4. Yeah, whatever. Apparently knight d2, just knight d2, and I mean it still looks like I should be very solidly ahead here. Apparently not. And this sacks a piece, which I mean I just have to take. And I'm slightly better here. Rook f7, yes. F takes e4 was my alternative, I think. Yeah, and bishop h6, and the best move is just to take. Yeah. Bishop takes c4 I looked at, but I thought I wanted to... Why did I want to kick the queen? Actually, it's probably terrible to kick the queen, right? Because it actually like pins my pawn, and then it's kind of an issue. Rook a4. That's not a move. That's not a move my opponent would have played, at least. That's not a move you can find. You can't just find moves like that. That's illegal. My opponent played a normal move. I have to take. Good that I did. Oh, they're forced to take on f8. Interesting. They're forced to do that. Yeah, I assumed that I was looking at two moves, either bishop e4 or rook e4 for my opponent. And rook e4 looks kind of scary, but I thought that was fine. Yeah, apparently it doesn't matter what I do, but I played knight d4. They're forced to they can't give me a check. Wow. Queen f7 only move for a draw, apparently, which I assumed as well. And they have to give me either give me the check or immediately take the bishop. Queen takes c5 was the alternative, and then my bishop just runs, and I'm better because I'm just up a piece. I did also see this, and then my knight is actually kind of pinned, so I can't play knight f3. But I play knight c2, and that looks solid enough. Yeah. Or maybe like, no, I have to like put a lot of pressure. So I'd have to do this, and this, and hope that my pawn was good enough, which it definitely seems to be. And it's not here, it's there, and then yeah, force there, e5, e4, not okay. That's also winning. How is this not? Oh, the pawn is just too fast. Wow. So it doesn't matter. Oh, they. Okay, so it would have been winning if this wasn't a perpetual. Basically, is the point. Nice. Okay. So, what was the variation? Take. No, there. No, wait, what's the move? Oh, rook h7. Apparently this was losing because of queen h6. Okay. Oh, rook h7. Oh yeah, and then if they take, it's a perpetual. Okay, I would have found that. Okay. But yeah, f4 is just losing, right? It just has to be completely losing. Yeah, my opponent said, like, they assumed e takes f4 and then they take here. That was my opponent's calculation. And I looked at this move, like, with a bit of bewilderment, and immediately did this, and apparently that's just losing. Because of king h1. Yeah, I kind of assumed that, and then this, and then rook f1, which I have to take. And then I have to go here, right? Oh, I can play... Oh my mouse, come on, I can play that, that's also interesting. And apparently this is losing, because the queen is too strong compared to my two rooks and a piece. Wow, insane. I would have assumed that this would be winning, but whatever. Yeah, yeah, if you can't find king h1 with the point that... Wait, with this point, that this position is winning for white. Come on, like, this is not winning for white, right? I mean, okay, so you need to also then find mate threat and win this with tempo. Why? Okay, so it's clearly a draw, right? Just make moves, show that it's winning, please. Oh, okay. Wait, I just... Oh, if you move out, then... Wait. What? Why do you play knight f5 to sack a piece? You're really forced to do that? I'm doubting that. What's the point? Okay, so you win a piece. So you need to find basically that you win a piece at some point. That's insane. Show me in the comments if you would have found this, basically. So queen. So you need to find, after king h1, you need to find that you win a piece in this endgame. You have to find that you could win a piece here. Tell me if you did, because it's possible. It's just not that likely, I don't think. But yeah, they just sack their queen for not enough material, and then it's just over, right? Queen d1 is apparently better because whatever. Winning enough. Queen f4 to try to find a way to win the rook with check. Oh, that's evil. I mean, I kind of did that, but I had so many more checks here. It's announcing mate after king g6. Optimal. b1 queen. Fastest mate at least. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the endgame was very winning, but King h1. Yeah, good luck finding that. Have fun. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this game. Yeah. Like, I came out of the opening very well. Like, the opening went very well, and then I didn't take on d4, which I looked at, but I thought that would just kind of... I mean, my pawn structure would be okay, but not great, I thought. And I looked at it, and there's also like this stuff, which is interesting if the 5th rank is open. Yeah. It's probably good, but hard. Where did I... b3 was the bad move, apparently. Even though it kind of won me the game in the end. The pawn promoted, so it's kind of good, right? Is there... Is there an option of check? Nah, whatever. This has gone on for long enough. Yeah. It was a fun game. Got another one tomorrow. I need to sleep at some point. See you whenever.